Hey, there, paperback radio hosts. Can you tell us, where do you get all your ideas?
It's funny you ask that. We can sum it up in one word.
Plagiarize. Let no one else's work evade your eyes. Remember why the good Lord made your eyes, so don't shade your eyes, but plagiarize, plagiarize, plagiarize. Only be sure always to call it, please,
Inspiration!
Welcome to the Inspiration Chop Shop, where we take apart our favorite films, books, and anything else we darn well like, and steal every useful bit for our creative malfeasance. Let's see what's on the chop today. Hello!
Hi.
Welcome to Plagiarize. I like stealing, and I went into the Gnome Avenger voice in order to do it. The Gnome Avenger voice who is stolen from so many people, like Macho Man, Duff Man is where I originally got it.
I mean, the D&D game where you used him originally, or someone else did?
No. That was definitely me. But what I'm saying is I stole that voice from Duff Man, and he's taking it from Macho Man.
And Macho Man is probably imitating his father.
Yeah. So it's a great voice.
Anyway, you're a thief and a liar, and that's why I love you.
I love you too.
What are we
So,
talking?
speaking of thievery, shall we go in today's...
Plagiarize! Yes.
Today we are going... It's a throwback. It's a classic. It's in the same vein as Wuthering Heights or Phantom, right? It dates back to the end of the last century and the beginning of the new millennium. Of course. What was that?
I hate you so much.
I'm talking about something from the 90s, the 1990s, called Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And we're going to be coming back to Buffy just because I love the show. And it was
Hugely influential on you.
What was that?
Hugely influential on you.
Hugely. And since this entire show is basically don't tell anyone about influences, we'll... I know. But I thought we'd start with season 1. So, for those of you who didn't read the book or missed the movie, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a TV show. What was that?
There was a book?
No, there wasn't. It's something my grandpa used to say. But he would always say it about history, and specifically the Civil War. He'd always go, for those of you who didn't read the book or missed the movie, the North won. So it's just an expression I use. So Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a TV show that ran in the late 90s. They started with a movie in 1992, which I think is a lot of campy fun, but the creator, Joss Whedon, it didn't fit his vibe. The movie is kind of more of a teen comedy with vampires, and he always wanted something with a little more heft.
A little more superhero, a little more horror.
It's a little more both, actually. And it's ridiculous. There's one point where a vampire just keeps dying over and over. Right? So, again, it's not...
We buff it with a stake and it is instant dust.
Yeah, I think that may be one of the reasons we did that, along with not having to worry about where all the bodies were going.
Fair enough. It's a great effect.
No, it's good. And it goes on for 7 seasons, over 2 networks. And it's considered, and it certainly was in its wake. I think the influence has died down a little in the modern day. But it was one of the most influential TV shows of its generation. And that's saying something, because that era of TV, especially in the speculative sci-fi fantasy world. So,
we were talking earlier, X-Files, Supernatural...
Supernatural's
after it. Supernatural's one that inspires, but X-Files is going on at that time. It's a Star Trek boom.
Yep, yeah. Next Gen is coming to an end, but you got Deep Space and Voyager. You have Stargate, Farscape.
Friends is in the middle of its run at this point.
Which one?
Friends?
Yeah, Friends is around the same time, starts a little earlier. No, so this is like... For TV that then inspires the next 15 years, there's just a bunch. And this is right up there with one of the more influential shows of that generation.
and super low budget.
Well, to begin with,
To begin with.
I, like many elderly millennials, and the creators associated with this generation, steal from Buffy ruthlessly. But I wanted to pick a specific episode for each season. So today, doing season 1, we're going to be focusing on the dramatic climax, Prophecy Girl.
Yeah.
But in order to have the context of the season finale, we need to do a last time on. Boom, 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 boom. That's the theme song to Buffy.
Totally got that.
So, let us begin. In every generation there is a chosen one. She alone will stand against the vampires, the demons, and the forces of darkness. She is the Slayer.
What's she slaying?
Vampires, mostly, but not exclusively. And it's usually not on top of her list. So, season 1 is by far the shortest Buffy season. It's 12 episodes. Most of them are 22 to 24. I couldn't exactly find out why. I read somewhere that another show called Savannah had been canceled mid-season and it came in to replace. I read somewhere else that that's an urban legend. Whatever the reason, we got 12 episodes. And it is old school TV. So it is a rotating TV show style, meaning you have one overarching story that goes for the entire season, interspersed with Monsters of the Week.
I didn't know that had a name.
I came up. It does have a name. I've always called it rotating.
Oh, okay.
There is a term for it. I just don't know.
Yeah, because Joss Whedon is really good at that. Buffy is really good at that because
Buffy's exceptionally good about it. To compare it briefly to X-Files, which does come earlier, but I think Buffy does something smart in the evolution. So X-Files also has this Monster of the Week thing and the conspiracy, right? So it's also going back and forth. But the thing is, the conspiracy doesn't have a face, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what Buffy's able to do is give you season-long stories, not this huge epic one, which is why I think a lot of people get burned out at about season 5 or 6 of X-Files, and why you can come in at any season of Buffy and enjoy it from beginning to end.
And you figure out immediately, oh, okay, that's the big bad. He's relevant for this reason, but not other.
That's right. And if I miss season 2, not the end of the world.
Yeah, and not to mention you have these Monsters of the Week, so every episode has an interesting monster.
And season 1's got some good ones. So the Monsters of the Week include a wicked mother who's also a witch, a sexy praying mantis,
I loved her.
hyena spirits, the dangers of chat rooms, evil puppet vindication, astral projecting nightmare boys, but not the sexy kind, and a bullied invisible girl. And I'm not sure if you were counting at home, but that's actually 7 of the 12 episodes, which are not centered around vampires.
Yeah, and the first 2 we're establishing the world, so the master's in that, but it doesn't really lead up to Prophecy.
Yeah, there's basically 3 stories, 3 vampire-centric stories before Prophecy Girl. The pilot, which you're correct, is 2 episodes. That's 1 story.
Yep.
Never Kill a Boy on the First Date.
Great episode.
Great episode. And Angel. Now, thankfully, because of that joint structure, Monster of the Week and vampires, you do get stuff with the vampires in the course of a Monster of the Week episode, right?
And in particular, this one, you get stuff with the master. Like,
you do.
He pops up in Nightmare Boy in a really nice moment.
It does. Let me get to that when we get to that. But what it allows you to do, though, is see Buffy is always killing vampires. This is not a monster. Unless the vampire is special, you can assume she's been doing this. So in our sexy praying mantis episode, Angel, the mysterious one, tells her that a man with a claw is out there and they got to stop him.
He had to cut off his hand because he failed something with the master.
Yes.
And he replaced it with a claw.
That's right. The master, who, as we learn about him, does not deal well with anything less than total success.
Yeah, because he already killed these 3 warriors who showed up, and all of them survived their encounter with the Vampire Slayer. And so he chopped their heads off.
Yeah, staked him through the heart. And he let Darla do it to make her feel better. He's a good man. He's a good man.
He's very good to his Darla. Very good to Darla.
But so you get these vampires throughout, right? But you also get moments with the master and how he reflects on the evils around. My favorite comes in the episode you mentioned, which is Nightmare. And you get 2 great moments with him. The first is because the conceit behind the Nightmare episode is a young boy has been beaten viciously and is in a coma and is a powerful enough psychic. He's drawing his nightmare world into reality. So everyone's dealing with their fears. Xander's dealing with a slasher clown. Willow has to sing opera, which she is not trained to do, in front of a crowd of people. But you see, this also affects the monsters. So the master's there talking to his little buddy. We'll get to him in a bit, but talking to his little buddy. And there's this giant cross that appears before him. And the master acknowledges, I am terrified of this. It fills me with dread. Mm-hmm. He puts his hand on it and it burns. But he basically gives the fable's ending, right? He gives the point of the story.
Yeah, he gives the mind killer, fears the mind killer speech, basically, and solves basically for the audience solves the mystery. Oh, this thing is happening. This is how you defeat this evil. Don't be afraid of things, kid.
Yeah, you have to face your fear.
Yeah.
You can be like the master, but you also get another scene with him in that episode when he's freed. And that's important because it's clearly one of Buffy's great fears is his escape.
Yeah. Because he's trapped in a supernatural prison underground. A force field is around and they can't go through.
Yeah, so let's get to that, right? So we were basically just going over the structure, how Joss is able to insert important pieces of plot in other episodes.
Yeah, you get this cool foreshadowing leading up to the finale.
So here are the key episodes. Here are the key elements that lead to the finale. First, we have the Slayer. Now, interestingly, Josh doesn't start over, right? He has the movie as a prequel, right? She's left LA. She clearly has already learned she's a vampire slayer. We don't get any of that in the pilot episode. She's like, been there, done that, I'm done.
I want a social life.
She wants a social life. Now, the Slayer is sort of a combination of a couple of interesting thoughts. The first is it's a reverse final girl. The final girl was a trope, and it still exists to a lesser degree today, where the woman who survives, the survivor at the end of the film, is pure, decent, and sometimes it's
usually not the cheerleader.
Usually not the cheerleader. And it's implied that she survives because of that. And what Buffy did was like, nah, she survives because she kills the monster. The other thing is, it is a chosen one story. There is literally one person, they get superpowers. When they die, another person gets superpowers. There's only one at a time. Until the end of the series. And finally, and this was one of the major, and I'd say still one of the bigger influences today, it functions as a very direct metaphor, especially in the early seasons for young life, right?
Yeah.
What is a supernatural version of feeling like nobody talks to you? Oh, it's an invisible girl. That kind of thing.
Yeah. And it does that really well. Like, I know they're not actually teenagers, but they behave so teenage-like that it's crazy to me. Like, oh yeah, Sarah Michelle
Gellar.
Sarah Michelle Gellar is like, oh right, she's in her 20s. She's not 16. Because she's so good at behaving like a 16-year-old. And part of it is because you got Wheaton's special way of dialogue, but she's also just really like dressed like a sexy teenager would dress.
One of my one of my favorite things is later on she gets to dress more normally, like season 1. I was like, it's like, man, it's like, God help these splits.
So maybe it isn't her. Willow dresses the way I dressed in the 90s.
Yes.
You know, and most of the kids you see in the background are either actual teenagers who are just showing up with their LA wardrobes. But Xander, Cordelia, Alice, Willow, and Buffy all blend in with them really well and behave like teenagers, which I think is very cool.
I think it does a really good job there. So what we know is Buffy's left LA because she's been kicked out of her old school. She already has a destiny, and she's learning that fate is willing to switch zip codes. She can't just escape by moving 2 hours away. The vampires are here. They're ready to party. The Watchers, which is an organization dedicated to supporting and watching the Slayer, send Rupert Daddy Giles, her... I'm just saying, I think that's his official name.
I don't think it's Daddy. I think it's Ripper, and I think that calling him Daddy makes you feel like there's not that chemistry between him and
Buffy. Oh God, no.
Yeah.
It's between him and all the young fans who wanted him. So
I hear you now. Okay.
Yeah, actually, one of the things I like best is about how innocently paternal that relationship is.
Yeah. Well, all of the teenage girls in the world were thirsting over Anthony Stewart Head.
It's funny. I don't want to get too much into the fan reaction, but you do see people aging, right? The people who grew up who had a crush on Angel and Spike, and then as they got older, they started having the crush on Giles. But again, I don't. Fans are fans. She becomes.
So he's undercover as the school librarian there.
He's undercover as the school librarian. She becomes best friends with Willow and Xander, and frenemies with Cordelia Chase.
Cordelia!
A mysterious stranger begins to warn Buffy of the vampire's plans. This is a dashing young man by the name of Angel, who has a leather jacket and 90s hair.
Oh, I should have worn my leather jacket for this. I was trying to do the 90s
look.
look.
You'd be an excellent Angel. So, during the course of this, they learn about the Master, who we've mentioned a couple of times, who is this ancient vampire with a very good sense of humor, and he's amongst the oldest vampires in existence. And he got trapped in this town about 60 years ago because Sunnydale is built on a hellmouth, a mystic center that conveniently allows for strange mystery about once a week during prime time.
I think I grew up there.
Yeah. And so he's stuck between this hell dimension, the real world, in a sort of underground church. And the first episode is this group coming together to stop him from escaping, even as they lose Xander's best friend, Jesse. A loss so devastating, it will never be mentioned again. And this is a show that likes flashbacks. So then the next major vampire episode is Never Kill a Boy on the First Date, which introduces us to the world's greatest disappointment, the Anointed One. The Anointed One is a great concept who does nothing over this series. The Anointed One is a child vampire who becomes the Master's right hand and is destined to lead the Slayer to her doom. This is very important. It's said he has some great power, but we never see this.
All the other vampires are like drawn to him. They can sense his energy. They fall immediately in line and deliver some great lines that if you had an actor who could deliver them as a child would have been great. But I don't think this kid.
Well, and he's a kid. He's a legit kid.
Yeah, he's like a little kid. He's like 7, maybe 6.
He looks it.
Yeah.
But I love that episode. It's got a lot of great stuff going down, but from a plot point of view, what's really important is they think they've killed the Anointed One.
Yes.
There's a red herring. They kill that vampire, but the real one is...
And killing that vampire is a freaking fight. So
it is. It's a great fight.
It is almost kills the guy on the first date, which is,
And Giles. Like, it's...
Oh, that's right.
So, and then finally, the last real pre-episode before this is Angel, where it's revealed that the tall, dark, and brooding man is really a vampire.
You mean the depressed demon nightmare boy was a vampire?
It's never been done before or since. What is interesting, though, is that Whedon, in order to hold to his cosmology, right, is this vampire was cursed with a soul.
Because he was so evil. He was cursed with the soul.
He was, yes. Which means this isn't something like if the vampires work on themselves. If you saw our Has Been Hotel episode from a couple of weeks ago, right, there is no place for rehabilitated vampires.
We're not going to rehabilitate the vamps.
Yeah. But he is a vampire, and this creates tension between Buffy and Angel, right?
You mean the Vampire Slayer can't just go around boinking vampires?
No, it's not right.
Also, she's 16 and he's 240 something.
Yes, it was okay when he was 22, 23. Welcome to the 90s. So, there's a couple of important plot points that happen in the Monster of the Week episodes before Prophecy Girl. And it's the lead-up episode. It's Invisible Girl. Giles and Angel have a few brief interactions. And in that, Angel steals the Codex, which is a book of super accurate, cannot mess with prophecies.
Oh.
Right? They are true. This is important. And throughout the season, Buffy has had her own prophetic dreams. The Master has been reading continuously from old books of prophecy as well. The entire point throughout the season indicates this final confrontation has been noted, recorded. It is going to happen. There's nothing to be done.
Okay.
And that's where we go into the episode itself. Prophecy
Girl.
Now, it starts with Xander.
Of course.
And
Everybody's
Xander,
favorite.
your favorite, a lot of people's favorite. Xander is practicing asking Buffy out on a date with
Willow, who has a crush on him. Devastating.
Yeah, this is classic. It's not even a romantic triangle because there's so many people involved. It's kind of a love web. So Xander likes Buffy. Willow likes Xander. Buffy likes Angel.
Angel likes Xander.
But they can't be together. Angel likes Xander in Lisa's fan fictions. So all of that's been building throughout the season. Cordelia, it switches to Cordelia in her car, making out with Kevin, who's her current boyfriend, as Buffy's killing a vampire nearby. So this is all action, right? We have the love stuff. We have Buffy doing this. And then we see Giles reading the very accurate codex, and it is upsetting him.
It's upsetting him, that's right.
It's full British pallor, right, coming upon him. And then an earthquake hits the town. And it's knocking things around, and the Master underneath it is going, yes, it will happen. My time is nigh. So what do you think? About 5.6 on the Richter scale? Small thing. One of the reasons his jokes work, the Master, he's kind of in full Nosferatu makeup.
Yes, he looks very old and monstrous. Yeah.
And so the fact that he has such modern turns of phrases just are lovely.
Well, what I love about him is when you contrast him to a lot of the other old vampires, even the ones he's calling in, you can see that his strength is that he's kept up to date. Buffy's not going to surprise him with a car or a rocket launcher. He's read about those things, you know?
And he is fully aware of ritual. Like, he understands prophecy. He understands magic. He doesn't use them necessarily.
How do you think he got to be the oldest vampire that we see at this point, you know?
Yeah, and arguably the oldest vampire in it. There's one vampire who might be a competitor in season 3, but that's yep. I am of the opinion Master's the elder, but that's just me. So the next morning, Buffy meets Giles, who's totally, oh no, I'm caught in my own mindset. And Buffy is going, hey, listen, vampires are coming up. They're everywhere. They're getting closer to the school. But Giles is completely distracted.
Mm-hmm.
So she continues on her way. Xander asks Buffy to the prom. She makes it clear she doesn't see him that way.
Oh.
And Xander doesn't react great. It's not full terrible, but he's self-deprecating. He's kind of mean to her. Yeah. He brings up the relationship to Angel.
It's and very then he goes 16-year-old boy. I'm going to lash out. I know I shouldn't, but I'm going to. Yeah.
And then hightails it out of here. And because everybody has clever lines, they're mean. These are mean sentences. Giles, switching back, has phoned Angel and he wants to meet him when his crush, Jenny Calendar,
the computer science teacher.
Yes.
Who's also a cyber pagan? Techno-pagan?
Yeah. Techno-pagan is the term they use. And she's saying, what's going on? There are signs everywhere. Rains of toads.
Blood.
I think my favorite was a cat who gave birth to a litter of snakes.
Yes.
And there's this monk somewhere called Brother Luca who's emailing everyone about the Anointed One. And Giles is like, why? We killed him. And he's like, get more information about him and come back. And she's like, I want to know. And then he becomes like, do as I say. And she's like, okay. And then they continue on.
Talk to me, British daddy.
Kevin and Willow agree to help Cordelia. And this is an interesting moment, right? Because Cordelia is already starting to evolve past the completely hostile to the group.
Yeah.
Cordelia
is someone they have to save consistently because she is the queen bitch of the school. She's Miss Popular. But it's funny to me because she's also clearly like the school bicycle, which some people like don't respect her for, but also like she's hot. And so she's like Buffy's rival in a sort of social sense, but also completely aware of all this stuff and not afraid to talk about it. Like, so other people will walk into the room and the Scooby Gang, as the friends are called, will be like, oh, we're the chess club, only we don't play chess. And she'd be like, we fight vampires? Or at least they do. They're nerds. I love her.
No, it's great. She is so much fun throughout it.
So Cordelia gets Willow and Kevin's help to do the sound system for the dance.
Yeah, which is coming up. The prom's coming up. We got a prom. And
Willow, high school life.
Willow agrees, but as she's agreeing, she sees Xander going full Great Escape, throwing the ball against the wall, catching it. And she goes in to cheer him up. Xander, understandably, but very insensitively, is like, hey, how about we go out? And Willow's like, no, I'm not going to be second pick.
Well, especially because he's not like, we're not going to go as a date. You're going to go and we'll just be buddies there. And she's like, no.
And I love the line. She says, do you think I want to go with you while you spend all night wishing you were with her?
Yeah.
And she's still sweet about it. She's like, I get it. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.
And this happens in there. And then we switch to Buffy in the restroom, the girls' locker room.
The blood is in the faucet.
She turns on the faucet and blood starts coming out.
Very unsanitary.
Very unsanitary. That's not supposed to happen for those of you at home. It's not supposed to happen when you turn on a faucet.
There's a joke about COVID in there somewhere.
Yeah. So she sees this. She immediately goes to Giles and overhears him talking with Angel.
Hey, that's right.
Who's been avoiding her. So she hasn't seen Angel in, I think, a few episodes. And they're arguing. And Angel is basically saying, no, you're wrong. This can't be possible. And Giles is like, no, you need to listen to me. She is going to face the Master tonight, and she's going to die. Yeah. This is the book of super accurate prophecy.
It's the following night, right?
Yes, it is the following night. This is a book of super accurate prophecies. There's nothing to be done.
Yeah.
She's going to die.
They're literally not arguing this prophecy won't happen. We can fight against the prophecy. They're literally arguing you must have misread this. Like there must be another interpretation because it can't be wrong. And it's
and that's when Buffy reveals herself by this one. My opinion of Sarah Michelle Gellar has always been high, but rewatching this, I was like, oh, she's a phenomenal actress. Because she goes from laughing at the shock of this, attacking both of them. For the first time in all 12 seasons, you start to see her cry.
right.
And then it ends with, I'm 16, I don't want to die. And she rips off the cross necklace.
That angel gave to her.
The angel gave to her, says, I'm done. I'm no longer the Slayer. You can find someone else to stop it. I'm out.
And what I really want to point out with Sarah Gellar's performance in this is you also only see her scream once in season 1. And it's this great moment where she's about to kiss Angel.
She has been kissing Angel.
She has been kissing Angel, and then something happens that freaks him out, and he goes vampire on her face. And she screams seeing that. And it's such a great moment of like, oh, right, you could have been that final girl in a horror movie with this blood-curdling scream and tears streaming down your face. But you never see her do that because, first of all, she's making smarter acting choices. And second of all, there's smarter writing choices happening because she's such a tough cookie. So Whedon very carefully planned, when is she going to scream? When is she going to cry? And they're at these really key moments of, I found out my mentor figure and my crush know I'm going to die and either weren't going to tell me or, were going to send me off to my death. And
because part of what she says in that thing was, were you even going to tell me? And his response is, I was hoping I wouldn't have to. And this is a theme that continues for the next couple of years, because what a watcher probably should have done is not tell her and send her out. But you see why that is
of the Slayers they're not disposable, but
they are absolutely treated that way because there will always be another one. But one of the things that makes Buffy special, and again, this is more highlighted in later, but it is, the building blocks are here, which is she's not alone. She's not a singular person out there.
Yes.
She is one of a group of friends.
She got a Scooby gang.
She's part of the Scooby gang. So she's upset. She's mildly upset. So she's home and she's trying to get her mother, hey, let's just go out. Let's leave for the weekend.
Go away for the weekend.
And Joyce, who knows nothing about the vampire slaying, is like, oh, you didn't get asked to the dance, but you should go anyway, and reveals this beautiful dress, this stunning sort of, I'd say, ivory dress that she wears for the rest of the episode.
It's great. It's this beautiful. It's like a spring summer bridal gown that apparently Joyce met her dad wearing that gown.
Oh no! It was, she had seen Buffy looking at it in the store.
Oh! I remember Joyce saying something about I met your dad at the prom, and
yes, yeah. So
it had nothing to do with it. It's just a dress that Buffy wanted.
Yeah. So I saw you eyeing it. Buffy goes, Mom, we can't afford this, and she goes, the way you've been eating, we can afford it. And then she tells,
jokes that would not fly today.
Yes. And then she tells the story, because Buffy won't go to the dance, how the dance she met Buffy's father, she had gone by herself. She met him at the dance. And then gives the implication that she stole him away from his girlfriend.
Totally worked out for them.
Totally worked out. They're happily married. They are not.
They are divorced.
But, so it then switches to the next morning, and Cordelia and Willow see through the room Cordelia's boyfriend, Kevin.
Oh my God, this was such a great one too. Yeah, it was another great moment.
Oh yeah, and she's been going, oh, I can't believe I actually like him. I don't actually usually like my boyfriends, but he makes it special. And Willow is having this moment with Cordelia, who's usually one of her worst bullies.
Yeah.
And then they open the door and a body falls out. Everyone in that room, and it looks like there's like 4 of them, maybe even 5,
there's a lot. There's a lot of dead boys.
are murdered.
Yeah.
And
handprint on the TV, which is playing cartoons. Like, what a visual.
Yeah. And Willow, who has been fighting vampires this entire season, is just shocked.
Yeah. You get this great moment. I mean, it's the moment they wanted to have with Jesse at the beginning of, I knew these guys. I went to school. These were my friends. I knew them since I was in kindergarten, and she's devastated.
She says the line, I go to that room every day.
Yeah.
And so...
And the vampires have really invaded their place.
Yes, and that's the theme throughout it. The vampires are coming. They are invading. And so Buffy goes to comfort Willow, who obviously knows nothing about the prophecy. And Buffy says she'll handle it. Stay in tonight. And it's at that moment where she sees the effect this evil has on people outside herself. And she realizes, kind of heartbreakingly for a 16-year-old girl.
So it's the day of prom. Giles is in the library.
Yes, and he's explaining to Jenny Calendar that Buffy is the Slayer, to which Jenny goes, really? She's so tiny. And Giles asks for follow-up on, hey, that brother Luca. And she goes, the guy's disappeared, but the last thing he sent out was this Bible verse. And I love this moment. Jenny says, which I looked up. She opens up the thing, and Giles, from memory, quotes it. And it's one of those great Bible verses. I don't have it memorized. But the child shall lay down the lamb.
Leads the lamb or something.
Yeah. But the key word is child, right? Who leads the lion and the lamb. And she goes, kind of warm and fuzzy for a apocalyptic message. And he says, I guess it depends on where he's leading her to. And this is when Buffy comes in. And Buffy's like, nope, I'm going to do this. This is my responsibility. And Giles is like, no, you were right. All I've done is watch. I'm going to deal with this. I'm not going to let you get yourself killed. To which Buffy retorts by punching him in the face.
Which is great, because it's a really nice moment, because later on we find out that Giles is actually quite dangerous.
He can be, yeah.
Yeah, and he knows that, but Buffy doesn't know that. And
they make it clear from the get-go, very few people are as tough as Buffy, and none of the major group. She is supernaturally strong. She beats the crap out of Giles every time they train. It's hilarious. It is one of the recurring gags, which is delightful.
Never gets old. So anyway, Giles is unconscious.
She tells Jenny Calendar to come up with something cool and say it's from her. And she had overheard the thing about a kid. So when she steps out into the high school night air and sees this little kid going, hi! She's like, I know who you are. Lead the way.
And he's like, damn it, that was my one cool thing I had to do. And you already know?
You already know.
I thought I had to lure you. Damn.
So Willow and Xander arrive to find Giles waking up. He explains what goes on. Again, one of my favorite exchanges is Xander goes, and you just let her go? To which Giles responds, as the soon-to-be purple area of my jaw will indicate, I did not just let her go.
Oh, God, I love the sarcasm in this. The writing is so on point from the very beginning of the show.
Yes, very beginning. And Xander does a Xander, which is he goes to help fix the problem. And he doesn't know where the master is, but he knows who does. And he goes to Angel, and Angel's like, are you kidding? They'll eat you alive. And Xander basically has a moment of, you mistook this as a guy who was asking. He pulls out a cross, puts it to Angel's face, and it boils down to, listen, I don't like you. I basically think you're just a vampire. But Buffy thinks you're more. Are you going to prove her right or wrong?
Oh, God, great moment. Great moment with the two of them who are in this great love triangle with her, where Yeah. And Xander's like a useless little boy as far as Angel's concerned. Like Buffy's at least the Slayer. And Xander's just meat.
And he's not a hacker like Willow is.
Nope. He's not a watcher. He doesn't have like a lot of knowledge. He's just this dumb kid who's holding a cross in his face. Is like, okay, all right, I guess we're doing this together.
I guess. And I do think this moment is important in their thing because it indicates to Angel that Xander is not a coward.
Yes.
So it then switches back to Jenny, Giles, Willow, and they're trying to figure out, where is this ascension going to take place? Where is the Hellmouth exactly? Where will it break out? And they're like, oh, the dance at the Bronze, which is the club in town where a lot of stuff happens.
The only place in town. The only
cool place in town. And they go out to face them and discover a bunch of vampires heading towards the school. Because the Hellmouth is not just the school, it is the library where they do all their stuff.
I love this idea, and I don't think it's actually in there, this idea that they've literally been standing on top of the Master as they've been thwarting all of his plans. Like
it's sort of implied.
Yeah.
Because he's trapped at the thing of the Hellmouth, so he would be.
Yeah, and I just love that. Like I said, they don't do anything with it, but it's the idea that he's right underneath them. Like, it's not like Phantom of the Opera where he's literally overhearing what they're saying, but you feel like he's right there. He's underneath us this whole time. Anyway.
So this is bad for them.
Yes.
Meanwhile, underground, the Anointed One has led Buffy to this underground church that we've seen the Master in. And they have some back and forth. Buffy tries to cut him off monologuing, to her credit. He's talking. She shoots a crossbow at his chest, which he grabs midair, notes the fact that it was at his heart, and goes, nice shot. And then he disappears into the shadows.
Is this where he's like, I guess the banter portion of our fight has concluded? Or is that someone else some other time?
I think that's someone else some other time.
Sorry, I love that line.
Because he's not... What's funny is, you see him joke around, you see him enjoying, but he's taking far too much pleasure in knowing Buffy is about to die, because he's read these prophecies.
Yeah, he knows who's going to win this fight.
And what's heartbreaking is, she turns, he disarms her, he freezes her with his hypnotic power, gets behind her, and whispers into her ear, you're the reason I get away. If you hadn't come, I would not have the power to leave.
Yeah.
Prophecies are tricky things. And then he bites her. The leather jacket she's been wearing over the prom dress falls away. So she's just the thing. Drains her. He clearly gets the jolt of power he needs. She falls forward, and then he gives one of his great lines, by the way, hits love the dress, and he bursts out.
And I just want to say, it's such a great, like, to talk about stealing influences from people, the Nosferatu holding this beautiful woman in a wedding dress. Like, that's such a horror staple, and it's so beautifully done here, because she's been fighting in it. It's a badass dress. She's got the combat boots underneath it, you know? It's great. I love that moment.
And so Buffy's dead. He has killed her. She's face first in the water. Mm-hmm. The Master has escaped. Xander and Angel get there a few seconds later, sees this, flips her over, and Angel's like, yep, she dead. At this point, they switch locations, and Cordelia rescues Willow and Jenny by doing what she does best, hitting things with a car.
Yeah, I forgot about that. She's just like, oh, I have to save you. I'm going to crash my car into you. And Cordy has notoriously had a difficult time with driver's ed, which is very funny.
Yep. And then, because they clearly have a budget to burn, I don't know if they know they're coming back next year, they drive that car through the hallway right outside the library.
And Willow has a great line there. This is normally where we let the car, we normally walk in this way, and then poof, into the door.
And this is where they realize, oh, the vampires are coming here when an evil Lovecraftian tentacle bursts from the floor and starts grabbing people.
Oh man, all the tentacle stuff.
So,
So Buffy's back to being dead.
back to the sewer.
Do you think she died because of a self-fulfilling prophecy? Like, the vampire won because he believed in himself, and she died because
he died of a broken heart. No, I think it was probably the idea of let's not ask too many questions.
Good point. Because the Master's been trying to kill Buffy up to this point. He needed her blood.
Yeah, he needed blood.
Could have been problematic.
So, and we can talk about hubris. He assumed she would die, so he doesn't go much into it. But anyway, she's there, not breathing, and Xander goes, well, what about CPR? To which Angel, and this is one of my least favorite moments, because David Boreanaz, who is in fact not dead, who plays Angel, is breathing very heavily because it's a dramatic scene. So he goes, CPR, and he goes, you have to do it. I have no breath. Which
it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. But I hate that line.
No, it would have been better if, because Buffy is bleeding at this point. It's like, I can't get that close to her neck. Like, I will drain what's left.
Yeah, whatever it is. Xander gives her CPR, and she comes back.
Yay, the kiss of life, and they kissed.
They did. I mean, it was CPR, so it wasn't a kiss, because kiss. I know everybody kisses.
Anyway. So, stop ruining the conversation with talk of kisses, Lane. They get back. She's back.
So Buffy's back with a sense of purpose and actually feeling quite strong. So you get this idea that the energy thing went kind of both ways for some prophetic mystic reason. So she gets them, goes towards the school. Xander and Angel join to help the people dealing with the Lovecraft monster and the vampires. Buffy confronts the Master, who says, you're dead. To which she says, I may be dead, but I'm still good looking, which is more than I can say for you. They have a very brief fight. It's still a good fight, but it is a brief fight. The Master they're on a roof, hurled through the glass ceiling,
yes,
lands on a wooden stake. And he dissolves, but unlike every other vampire who explodes, leaving nothing, his skeleton is still there. But his death is enough. It shuts down the opening of the Hellmouth.
Don't the tentacles kind of just go?
Yeah, they come right back, and everybody's like, we're okay, we're good. And Buffy says, you know what? We saved the world. I say we should party. And they look at the skeleton, and Buffy's like, don't worry, he's not going anywhere. And they go to the dance. They go to the bronze.
Yay!
And that is the end of season 1 and Prophecy Girl.
Oh, there's so much good stuff in there.
Have you ever dreamed of death? I do every night. She looks good for her age, hanging outside my office, tempting me, mocking me with knowledge. I know who's next, even before I wake up to my old partner's phone call, his voice broken despite years on the job. I've got another one. Better come on down.
Plagiarize. Plagiarize. Let no one else's work evade your eyes. Remember why the good Lord made your eyes, so don't shade your eyes, but plagiarize, plagiarize, plagiarize. Only be sure always to call it, please, research.
And we're back from break.
Hey.
So that's Prophecy Girl. That's the first. Buffy's influence was huge.
Absolutely huge.
Particularly for people of our advanced years, right? But I mean, after the 90s, urban fantasy.
Oh yeah, I mean, literally, urban fantasy became like the number one kind of romance, and it was all these people who were badass heroines wearing tight leather pants, staking vampires, and it was like, oh, we're Buffy, but we're fighting demons, or we're Buffy, but we're fighting angels, or
yeah, exactly. We're Buffy. I would say this beginning of where, because Lost Girl, which is also part of this post Buffy generation. She's a succubus. She's the world's most bloodless succubus. But it was the first time I saw the Fae being the sort of stand-in for these kinds of things.
Yeah. And basically anything that you can say, oh, X-Files was an influence on this, Buffy also, and structurally just really smart use of the episode, monster of the week, monster of the season, monster of the arc, like.
Yep. And made it's unusual, right? Made it a little not so edgy, right? Made it relatable.
Yeah.
Because I love the X-Files, right? This is not an anti-X-Files. We should do an X-Files one to show that I love the X-Files. But some of those stories are scary in a way that Buffy's is not.
I remember the last episode we watched of the X-Files like freaked me out for a while, so we didn't watch another one because I was freaked out by it.
Yeah. And Buffy as this person you could sort of see yourself with as these, one of the friends.
Yeah. You could absolutely see yourself, okay, maybe I couldn't go kick a vampire's ass, but I could definitely be her support.
Yeah.
I could be part of the Scooby Gang. If Cordelia can do it, so can I.
And then Joss and what I think makes Joss good and why the series is able to progress for 7 years, they leave the metaphor eventually. Not in season 1 necessarily, but they have a world. They build a world we're able to just live in.
Mm-hmm. That's why Joss Whedon is able to chop his own thing and make a spin-off with Angel.
Yes. And I never really read them, but lots of comics.
Oh, right. Yeah, there's an adaptation of the comics. I forgot about them, yeah.
So in this way, right, so there's a lot of tropes, some of which exist previous to this, but this redefines your chosen ones.
Yeah. Redefines your final girl, because now when you talk about a final girl, she's often the one who's fighting back.
Yes.
I think about It Follows and how the final girl of that solves the problem, I'm trying to think about, because it's once again, the thing it does really well, like many good things, is it starts with a trope, but then it layers stuff on it. So you have Xander, who's that slacker trope, but as you were pointing out to me earlier today, he goes on to continue to grow, and you show, oh, he's actually a really hard worker. He just wasn't good at being tested. Like, he wasn't good at school. Like,
yeah, and Willow obviously grows.
When she goes to college, very normal.
She does, which is a huge deal at the time. Like, this is.
Yeah. It's got to be one of the first primetime queer relationships, right?
It's got to be. Like, Will and Grace is coming out, but it's. But no, it's. Ellen is the first, I think. This is not my specialty, but Ellen is the first. Her show gets canceled, and then you start seeing attempts throughout.
Yeah. And we all know that I don't understand how time works. So,
but
yeah, she's pretty special.
Also, if I remember correctly, there's two things that are interesting in the layered thing. So I've long been of the opinion that every vampire writer on the planet should have been sending Anne Rice money for about a 30-year period of time.
Oh God, there's a great moment in that season 2 of where the other cool vampire, Spike, literally says, "Oh, they still falling for that Anne Rice act."
Yeah, but what Anne Rice does is a little different from this trope, which just goes on to define everything for, I'd argue, to some degree to this day.
Are we talking about monster fuckers?
Well, not quite. Is the Angel is the good one.
Mm.
There are no good.
Yeah. All vampires are bad except
the
one who loves me.
and my love was part of what brings him home, right? And it's really powerful. And the way Joss then undermines that in season 2 is really cool.
Yeah.
But
I can fix him, but me fixing him will make him worse.
yeah. Well, and because she doesn't need to fix him, she tries to fix Spike, but that's an entirely different.
Because we love James Marster. Yeah.
Yes, but I do think that you have things like Dracula, the Francis Ford Coppola movie, Anne Rice. You have the idea of human vampire romances, but it is a darkness. You don't, maybe, I think, have I am a good vampire fighting the forces of evil, joined with you who are special. And
you get the fallout of that with Twilight.
Yes.
Which should have just been Ferris, as you have said many times. Should have been Faye.
Yeah, it should have been Faye. It is Faye. And we'll talk, maybe we'll do a Twilight paperback plagiarize. There's lots of good stuff to borrow and be inspired from Twilight. I say that unashamedly. It'll have to be the movie because I don't want to read the book.
And we're only going to do one movie because I don't know that I can. The only experience I have with Twilight is watching it in the bar that one time.
Hey, listen, at a bar with it on mute, it seemed fine.
Yeah, no, and it's one of those things like, it's one of those, how many millions of people watched it? They can't be wrong. Like, it had something in it that was speaking to people that we just crushed because we hate joy and romance and women.
So I will make 2 points. People can like or dislike what they want. I'm sure there's things to dislike about Twilight. I have never seen Twilight.
Me neither.
So I will not speak ill of it. Because that's my general rule. The second thing is the entire point of stealing stuff is I don't have to like everything.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
And the idea of and we got here because I had noted a trope in Twilight. That I was like, oh, that's clever.
The special human that everybody likes. I am the one good vampire, or in this case, the one in Twilight, the one good vampire family.
So yeah, well, that's from Buffy. But I will say the trope is she turned a Fae abduction story into a vampire story, which made it hugely marketable. So this is my pitch. I'll make it quick, but we brought it up.
Hey, subscribe and tell us if you want us to do Twilight, and then we'll think.
Yes, subscribe if you want to do Twilight. But the idea of immortal, dangerous creatures who sometimes prey on humans, sometimes love humans, who come in and can take you away from that world, make you one of them, but aren't inherently destructive or disease-filled. That's the Fae.
Right.
Turning it, evolving from the Anne Rice complicated undead to that is a fascinating arc. And I think
Buffy's in the middle of it.
Whedon has evil vampires, and that's clearly a part of his cosmology.
Yep, because every other vampire in that is unrepentantly evil. They have no soul until whatever the hell happens with Spike. But I'm not there yet. So
you're not there yet, and it's interesting, and I do want to talk about that, and people can hear our thoughts on that for only...
Oh, the cost of a priced soda. Or, this is not coffee.
So, along the other tropes, you get things that happen in a lot of fantasy, but had not happened really in sort of...
In a realism setting, yeah. Buffy sets off urban fantasy, which then becomes called paranormal fantasy, which today is called romantasy, if you're following the bisects.
Yeah, so I know that's what people say.
It's an evolution of it.
It is an evolution, and romantasy is usually set in fantasy worlds in a way that paranormal romance is not.
You're right. Urban definitely became paranormal romance. And I don't know if paranormal romance probably still exists in the bisect. But I know there's a lot of people who thought romantasy was going to replace it. But I would also argue they're two separate genres in a way that paranormal romance and urban fantasy is not.
Yes. No, I'm inclined to agree with that.
Just because so many people started writing about the central character falling in love with one of the things inside of that world.
And I definitely think it opened the gates. Like, I don't think these are unrelated topics.
Yeah.
But so let's start talking about, and it's you because this was my guided. Okay, adapt or fence. So how would you? I'm sorry. Would you? What is our expression? Fence it or chop it?
Chop it. Yeah, chop it for pieces. So like everything on here, I would probably chop it for pieces. But if I were to fence it, I think it would be really interesting to have a new Buffy, to have a new vampire slayer and follow a different slayer. I would probably queer it up. I think it'd be really interesting if you had a trans woman who was the slayer, and the watchers didn't pick up on her because they're looking for a girl, and this is clearly not, because maybe she still hasn't transitioned, or she doesn't have the, so then you have a whole different set of metaphors to pull from. Not to mention you just have a different set of problems facing the youth today. Like we were talking as we watched it, there's the one episode with the dangers of the chat room.
Chat room dangers.
Yeah. What was that actually called? I, Robot
You, Jane.
Yeah. And that's one that it would read a lot different today, because that's how you date now.
It is, but AI is still like
AI is a weird thing. Like, so I could see having a new Slayer who either has some kind of, just dealing with a whole different set of metaphors, a whole different set of problems, because as one of the prompts is, the cool kid today isn't the cheerleader, the cool kid is the social advocate. So what's that Cordelia look like?
Well, and the beautiful part about all of this stuff, right? Because you're actually dealing with the issues of about 15 years off, right? Because that was the cool kid 10 minutes ago, maybe. And
yeah, we don't have teenagers. We don't know what's cool.
Yeah, no, but and the idea of what's cool is oftentimes created by people in their 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
Right? And then that new group comes in. So it would be interesting if I were to fence this, and basically take the structure of a young person who has superpowers, who has to keep it largely hidden.
Mm-hmm.
I would do it as an alien thing. I like aliens, and I would have it fit in that category. And I would be exploring not only what it means to be a young person, but what it means to be human, which I do think Buffy at its best does.
I think a lot of YA does that. When it's like, what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to grow up? What does it mean to be a functioning adult in society?
Yeah.
If I were going to chop it, and I would definitely take the Scooby Gang and their dynamic of everyone in here is competent, a little bit funny. We all have different skills. We know when to step back, who steps forward, who steps back. We are good at coming up with plans on the fly, but we're all freaking teenagers, which is fun. It'd be kind of nifty if you had like a baseball team or something like that got, all irradiated and became superheroes or something. Or, they saw the vampire, so they were like, okay, well, we've got to protect people from vampires now, but they still have like their baseball coded language or something, like
a literal team, like a
literal team. Like, we exist as a team already, but we're going up against whatever these things are to eradicate them.
I like that. I like that a lot. So you like the Scooby?
I love the Scooby Gang.
I would say that influence, that's probably not all Buffy, but that influence hasn't gone. So if you look at Avatar: The Last Airbender, you can't quite person for person, but you can see a direct line from Xander to Sokka. What's his name?
Sokka.
You can see a direct line from Xander.
Yeah, no one's quite as tough as Toph, but Toph is pretty special.
So Toph is a little spiky to me. A little Anya-ish to me. Some of these characters, but again, these aren't direct. I don't think they were going. Ooh,
yeah. Spike to me right now is a vampire villain. Who's going to be the big bad of, I think, next season, but I don't know. Like,
we're in season 2. He is just evil right now.
Yeah. I don't know him as part of the Scooby. Like, my Scooby Gang is Willow, Xander, and Giles, and sometimes Cordelia.
And what am I thinking? The prince. What's the prince's name?
Zuko.
Zuko. If
That's Angel.
that's Angel or
Your nightmare
Spike.
depressed demon boy.
Yeah.
Oh, we love him.
No, again, these are not direct, but that core group that is both affectionate, loving, they needle each other to draw each other out.
Yeah. They work well together. Yeah. So I've always loved the group dynamics, and that's a really fun group dynamic. And the fact that they're all really fun and snarky and smart, we just love that. So I would chop that. I have written stories with characters like Giles and his mentees because we love that man. I, of course, make them stupid romances. So I usually age him down and age the others up. So you got, you're with your peer mentor, I guess, like this guy. I don't know, your nerd who's more competent than he's supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, and we sort of did that, not to give anything away on some of the stuff we're working on, but we've sort of done that with our Magpie world. And if you want to learn more about that, subscribe.
For the price of a cup of soda.
The price of a cup of soda, you can keep the lights on.
You could keep our lights on, you could keep us going, and eventually discover Magpie, where we have a sexy mentor figure who does not have anything to do with his students in that way.
Oh, I was thinking Byron.
Oh my God. Oh, Jesus, right. Yeah. Magpie's best friend is really nerdy, teaches her a bunch of stuff, and is also eventually a pretty good fighter. Not at her level.
Never.
Never her level. Very few people are at Magpie's levels in terms of martial arts.
But yeah, no, so that's what I was thinking. That's
our most direct chop from Buffy is we've got this teenage girl with who's trained her whole life in Anam, which is our version of Kung Fu.
Yeah, sort of arts. Condor Hero style.
Yeah. It's a wuxia, and so she's out getting rid of bandits, taking on other Anam warriors, and just being a cool fishmonger hero girl.
And Taco,
she's got a Cordelia too.
Yes, actually, she does.
Dental fighter.
But yeah, no, it is a good dynamic, and 4 is good.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's enough characters that people can step forward and they can step back, and you don't lose them. Like, yes. One of the things I love about One Piece is Oda manages a crew that is ever exponentially increasing, and part of the way he can do that is because he shows you these little groups of 3, and they sort of separate from each other. So they're always breaking up the group into another core dynamic group, which is very fun.
No, it is. When we talk about One Piece, which we absolutely will go into that, because I think that's really, really clever what happened.
You really want to see my nerd come out, huh?
Yeah. So hold on, pause. We'll cut here. Not cut, but
stop the recording.
No. But my phone was ringing and it was bothering me.
I did not even hear
it. I have silenced everything, but it's like buzzing next to me. That's all we need to talk about it. So for me, what I would chop, and I also love the Scooby Gang, is one of 2 things. One is I really, really, really like and miss, in some ways, episodic structuring.
Yeah.
And this is a good example of it, but actually my comic book background is also this, where in an issue or an episode, you would have a single event that happens, a monster of the week, a villain of the week, a conspiracy of the week.
Yeah.
And that problem...
This is our current issue.
Yeah, and that problem must be solved. But that doesn't mean life stops, right? So romance things can be happening. This can be happening. And sometimes you have an issue which is all about the romance or all about the other thing. But this stuff is going on. And the X-Files / Whedon approach of, okay, and now let's have another arc that's longer term, I think works really well. So there's that. And
steal that structure, because that's a lot of fun. And it also lets you just drop in wherever. Like, I've been talking about, episodes that I've seen in the future. Like, I know Spike as a good guy because I've seen the musical episode. I know Giles as a dangerous guy because I've seen later episodes where he does cool stuff.
Yeah.
And I could just drop in there because I get the basics of, Buffy, hero. Xander, hero's bestie,
One of the former guys who ran Marvel Comics was a guy named Jim Shooter. And one of the things he would tell his writers was it's somebody's first issue. And I think not for every writing style, but that's something to keep in mind. And there is a skill to reiterating information in ways that don't feel repetitive.
That aren't, as you know,
right? We are reacquainted with the fact that Buffy is a slayer who has been chosen on a hellmouth who must face those. We're reacquainted with that every episode in new and interesting ways. It happens early. And that goes on for years. It is a long time before they feel comfortable enough to basically go, listen, you either
they cut their intro with this is the once in a generation, the slayer. Yeah. But, but it's one of those, it's also like, every once in a while they'll be like, yeah, Giles, you're the watcher. Are you watching this? Like,
yep. No, and they don't iterate what needs not to be iterated. I'm not sure that was a sentence. You don't need to say, Xander, you're the comedic relief, or Xander, you do that. Right. Xander's just that.
You're just doing it.
You often don't need to say, Willow, as you know your hacking abilities, she just does it. So it's also very aware of what tropes exist outside itself that people will be more likely to just step into. Oh, she's the hacker. Cool. Versus what is in-world stuff that the idea of a slayer might be enough, or a superhero might be enough. But back in the day, no, we have to explain this.
Like, they don't need to tell you that a vampire's not going to like a cross.
That's right. Or a stake. They don't have to reiterate that. They do have to reiterate that Buffy is there to kill them. And then the second thing I would take from this in particular is I genuinely love the Master.
Yes. Because you did not get enough time.
It's a 12. I love the fact that he is both extraordinarily perceptive and in a genuine way, not just in a tactical way, though he is. I understand these people. I understand them. Yep. I even like them. I am amused and I enjoy this.
Yeah. Kind of like that moment when we were talking about with the nightmare episode where the cross appears. He figures out exactly what's wrong with the first nightmare. Yeah, he would have been an excellent watcher.
Would have been a great watcher. And you get a feeling why this guy lasted this long. It's not just because he's the strongest guy in the room. And his knowledge is vast. And he's funny. And not just funny in we're making jokes for joke's sake. He himself, the character, is witty. And
by the way, I love the dress.
Yeah. One of my favorites is this vampire went off, ate, got killed. And you see, it's a great piece of exposition, but it's in total character. The Master throws down the book, this giant tome, opens it and starts laying out these prophecies. This will happen, and so it is written, so it shall be. Goes to the other guy, prophecy. So it is written, so it shall be. And then one of the brethren will go out and get himself killed because he couldn't hold his stomach, alerting the Slayer to our presence. Wait a minute. And then he goes, that's not written anywhere. And it's not like, oh, here's the butt of a joke with throwing humor. He has a very aggressive style of humor.
Yeah.
and that joy he takes in the world.
Yeah.
Like,
the joy he takes in letting these three warriors think, I would not remove, I'm going to show mercy. I wouldn't do this. And then Darla gets to stake them.
yep.
You know, it's a joke he's played on them to get them relieved and then to kill them.
Yes.
But I think it's interesting where he uses that humor because he never does that to the boy, the Anointed One. He's never cruel to the Anointed One. He's a good mentor to him.
He's not cruel to the Anointed One. He's not cruel to Darla. He clearly has favorites.
Yeah, he makes fun of her sometimes because of her weaknesses, but not.
Yeah, but also kind of in a like, oh, you miss Angel, huh?
Yeah, in a very Watcher Buffy way. It's kind of like they are the opposites of each other.
And so I would love to play around with a villain like that for an extended period of time. But
I always thought it was scary because he's trapped in this place. He's been there for 60 years. He's so perceptive, so observant. He must be so bored.
And you get that impression too. Like and this is why casting an actor as good as they got for him was really helpful, because there's no reason he should be this entertaining. A lot of it's the writing, but a lot of it is how he goes about it.
Yeah.
But speaking of things we're chopping, let's give the group the prompts. And if you want all the prompts, go ahead and subscribe and get me some more Diet Coke.
Yes, you will have access to the archives. So not only will you get all the prompts for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but Hazbin Hotel, Wuthering Heights, Phantom of the Opera, Sorry Wrong Number. So that's a lot of prompts. You'll be writing forever.
You'll be
never have writer's block again.
So why don't you start us out, my love?
Sure. So my first prompt is not that one. That's yours.
What? We don't have notes that we reference.
My first prompt is take your favorite trope from a horror movie, find a girl, knife-wielding psycho, blood-sucking monster, and put it in another genre like rom-com. That's been done a lot. I think it is interesting.
Zombie.
Oh, yeah. I think it would be interesting to take a trope from a horror movie and you're putting it in another genre and you're twisting it in a special way. So, vampires going into romance movies was not new for Joss Whedon. Dracula had existed. Making them soulless, but except for the one, was kind of newish. So take your favorite trope, put it in another genre, maybe one that hasn't been done before, like, I don't know, a slice of life and you're living in a horror movie. But keep the vibe of the genre, make it interesting.
I love that. My first one is an ancient vampire has gone so long without blood that he's slowly transforming into a human. And he's been released. And he knows that if he can just not feed for another 2 weeks, he'll be fully mortal again.
Horrible. Horrifying. I'm going to turn back into a cow. Oh, no.
But if he's close enough to humanity to realize what it would be like to feel again.
Yes.
To see the sun again.
To be able to breathe again. Yeah, I can go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
But he'll die.
But he will die.
But maybe he'll have his eternal soul again.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, wouldn't it be interesting? You have a character who's had that transformation, who's now like your Van Helsing. Like, I know vampires because I was one. How can we trust you? Because I'm human now. Like,
yeah, I am no longer. It would be an interesting approach to the Daywalker.
It would be. Cool. Minus one. Despite her best efforts, years of training, and sacrificing her entire social life, the Chosen One fails, and the world enters the apocalypse. To avenge their fallen friend, her besties and mentor launch an attack on the big bad.
Uh-oh.
I love the Scooby Gang.
Yeah, no, that's good. This one I tried as just a sort of cute little romantic story, which was a young man has a crush on his best friend's sister. So I was thinking Xander to Buffy, but Willow's the best friend. The sister, the best friend, I should say, who is in love with her guy, is trying to give good advice to get them together, but just keeps bungling it until she and him realize they're meant to be together.
Oh, so it's like Xander and Willow end up together while Willow tries to get Xander with Buffy.
Yes.
Adorable. I love that.
I am at heart a Cyrano de Bergerac fan, so...
All right. My next prompt is prophecies in fiction are fun and harder than you think. So write a story where the prophecy comes true, but in a way that readers can't guess from the initial reading of it.
Always classic. Those prophecies are tricky things.
And they're hard to write. Like, I have tried.
Mm-hmm. Well, so mine is similar, or a 16-year-old is told they can solve any single problem, end an ongoing war, develop a technology that will feed everybody. All they have to do is die and suffer.
Jesus Christ.
Not in that order.
I mean, you could die and then you will suffer for eternity. You're going to go to hell for the sins of the people. No.
I mean, that is sort of the idea, right?
It's the ultimate chosen one.
Yep.
Alluded to this one in the episode. Buffy is a cheerleader, the old symbol of popularity. Write a story where the demon hunter / superhero is the new symbol of popularity, like a D&D nerd, or a theater geek, or an antisocial poet, or even a social media influencer / advocate.
Love that. And that would be the updated version. Mm-hmm. Mine is a superhero has a crush on her high school best friend, but he really doesn't see her like that. So she begins to wonder if it's worth saving his life all the time.
That's such a teenage thing. I love that. Oh, the moral conundrums that you come up with that, like, what's he doing that he keeps getting into trouble and needing to be saved? Is he just trying at this point? Is this his way of flirting with her?
Well, my thought was a Lois Lane-like situation, and he's getting more and more reckless because a superhero keeps saving him. And maybe he should see what it's like to be without her for a minute.
Oh, geez. All right, as you know from listening to us, the Master is backed by a small child called the Anointed One. Write a story from the point of view of that very small child who has an evil soul, but disagrees with the big baddie who is his beloved mentor about how the mentor is running his monstrous empire. So you have the conflicted, hey, I like this guy, I believe in this guy, I'm also evil, so it's not it's just, I think I would do things differently. I don't think I would kill those 3 warriors. And he's 7 years old.
Yep. I would love to know. I actually have a feeling something like that may have been planned. I see there's a lot of indications of where that show, season 1, could have gone. Anyway, I also have an Anointed One for my next one. A creature is kidnapping children, taking their shape and replacing them within their home so it can feed on the family. And the only one who's noticing anything odd is the local eccentric bus driver.
I love that. I love the school bus driver notices, hey, these kids are acting different than they used to. Or is it like Moe from The Simpsons, these little bastards?
Yes. But he loves them. But yes.
Was that 5?
I thought we did 4. Let me count. Oh, no, you're right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Yeah, that's the prompt.
I have the number.
I almost gave away a paid prompt.
I mean, I like the next one, but I'm not going to read it out.
Yeah, I like your next one too.
Maybe we should write it for Paperback Radio someday. Anyway. All right.
What should they do if they like what they hear here, LJ?
They should subscribe. They should they should follow. They should tell all their writing groups about us and write those prompts and send them to us because that would be a lot of fun.
It would be. Also, if there's anything in particular you want to hear us break down and dissolve for prompts, let us know. We'd love to add more stuff.
Yeah, you probably don't have to subscribe for that. They'd probably just comment on this video and we would be like, yes, we'll do it next week.
We will do it. We just want approbation. Neither of us received any approval.
As children.
Yep.
We were not the chosen one.
No. No, a British person did show up, though, once when I was a child, looked at me and said, no, and left.
I was the chosen one, but my parents wouldn't send me to the school, so...
All right.
All those prophecies forgot to mention what happens when you have cheap-ass parents.
As Buffy would say, bye!